EMC x BloomingBit interview. DePIN technology will address GPU scarcity in the era of AI. Question 1. Could you briefly introduce yourself and share the core mission of Edge Matrix Chain?
Yeah, so to introduce myself, my online name is Metamellow, so METAMELLOW, and I'm the communications director at EMC. I'm also a full stack developer. I have more than 10 years experience. I work in EVM, Solana, Ethereum, dApps, smart contracts. I write in React, Rust, Solidity, JavaScript, HTML, kind of everything. And so for the core mission for EMC, what's interesting about AI is there's kind of a huge problem that a lot of people don't see. This is access to the GPU computing power. This is why we started EMC in 2022. So it's almost like with ride sharing. Imagine everyone has thousands of cars and they're just sitting in their houses, but no one can get access to those cars. And that's kind of what's happening with GPUs right now. Like basically, there's all this computing power, but no one has access to it. And so this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect people to this through a decentralized network.
Question 2. What unique background and experience does the EMC team bring to the project?
Yeah, so I think one of the most unique things about EMC is that we have a very wide network. So we're working with a bunch of institutions like Future 3 Campus, 1783. Recently we've been working with HashMeta, which is a global marketing group. We also have a thing called the EMC Partner Network, which is where we're working with major data centers, cloud providers, mining farms. And these are all across the world: US, Hong Kong, Australia, Singapore. And everyone's kind of working together to help us build this kind of GPU future.
Question 3. What is DAI?
Yeah, so DAI is kind of a new term. It relates to DePIN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. So essentially, DAI is just that. It's kind of like a decentralized access to AI. And I think it would help if I explain, like I said, that stack here, because when we say decentralized AI, you can't just have one without the others. They kind of go together. So this is when we say, instead of, because I can say DePIN, right? Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. And that would be giving access to these GPU cards. And that's just a physical resource that you're accessing. But when you think about AI, it's not just that card, it's also the language models that are running on them. And so you need this whole full complete stack to be DAI. So yeah, at the bottom level, we have those GPUs, which we've been kind of working with for a long time. These are pretty powerful hardware, like A100s, H100s, the same things that OpenAI use and Meta use. So we have that at the bottom, and these are, if you have one of these, you can run a node and you can stake with these, and you get essentially rent from having this hardware. And then in the middle, we have the smart contract layer, where if you have this GPU, you can integrate it into our Web3 layer. Essentially, all of the information from your GPU will be recorded on the blockchain through smart contracts. And so at the bottom, you have the GPUs. In the middle, you have the smart contracts. And then at the top, we have the EMC hub, essentially where it's like an app store where you build, say, like a chatbot, and you build that in the hub, which then goes to the smart contract, goes to the GPUs. So it's that full stack, which we consider decentralized AI.
Question 4. AI-related crypto projects have gained a considerable attention in this cycle, such as Near Protocol or Render, SingularityNet. Since EMC is a DePIN, Decentralized Infrastructure Network, I think collaboration with those AI projects is quite important for EMC. Is it true or not?
Like I said, I think one of the strongest areas of EMC is our network. Like I said, we work with HashMeta, which is a globally recognized digital marketing group. So that's pretty big, and they can bring a lot of eyeballs to our project. So yeah, our network is really important. We're also really trying to bridge into not just, because we are a Web3 project, right? But we can also provide this service to Web2 companies. Anyone that needs, really anything. Like, so imagine you're a teacher and you need to build lesson plans, or you're a business and you need to analyze your data. A lot of these services are going to Web2 products like ChatGPT. But we're kind of hoping to, because I think that AI and Web3, these things go together very well. Because if you're talking about microtransactions, that's where Web3 really kind of stands out. And so I think these things go together very well. And we're hoping that through this kind of marriage of AI and Web3, we can actually bring in the Web2 users into this.
Question 5. Blockchain technology can enhance the transparency and security of AI. How is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, so this is something that I'm a very strong advocate of, and that's transparency and security. And this is one of the best attributes of blockchain technology, is that everything should be pretty transparent. If I write a contract and put it on the blockchain, I can maybe hide the functions in that contract, but anyone that's interacting with that can be seen. And so this is really important in AI too, because right now, essentially, if you look at companies like ChatGPT or OpenAI, it's just a black box. We use their product, we have no idea how these things work. But through the way we set up our system, where we have the GPUs on the bottom and then we have the smart contract layer, we can see, we know exactly how much are those GPUs being utilized completely, what is their performance, what is their status, how much are they earning, things like that. And also we can, like, one example of this is that we can actually have cheaper prices than OpenAI. So our price of using these GPU network is actually about 80% cheaper than it would be to use AWS. And again, this is because we can directly connect, like, this is the GPU, this is the smart contract layer that's showing how it's performing, and then you're paying just for that performance. There's no sort of like hidden fees there.
Question 6. What remarkable milestone that the EMC has achieved until now?
I think probably one of the most impressive things is that we just launched our H100 cluster. So I think OpenAI bought, I can't remember the actual numbers. Like, I think there was, say, like a million H100s bought or built through NVIDIA. Mm-hmm. I think OpenAI took, like, say 10% of that, and Google took 10% of that. And so we don't have 10%, but we were able to acquire a large percentage of them. I think it's maybe 100 or 1,000 H100s. And so for me, that's a pretty big deal, because these are like the top level GPUs. Sure. And so now EMC has access to this top level GPUs. We're also doing a lot of work with, there's a graphics card called the 3090. And this is a really popular graphics card for mining in crypto and running nodes and things like that. And so we're also helping these people transition from crypto into AI, because it's still profitable to run, say, a staking node or something like that. But since AI is kind of more helpful for the daily users, it's also profitable for them to split this usage and divert some of that processing power into AI. And so we're really helping them with that transition as well. So I think a lot of our, at least ones that I care the most about, is kind of in this technical level, where we're actually, like, there's a lot of projects I talk to, and they have these big dreams, but they don't actually have anything real. You can't touch it, But I think EMC, we actually have these things. We have, thousands of graphics cards around the world that we're actually connected to and using on a daily basis. Okay. And not just like medium level, but like the highest level possible graphics cards that we personally have. Yeah, I mean, I think some of this goes back to the fact that we actually have this physical network available. Okay. We've been around since 2022, and since then we've been consistently building our physical infrastructure, as well as our kind of network and our software infrastructure. So there's that aspect where it's like, it's not just a dream, it's actually something that you can use now and touch now. So that's a big plus for an investor. Okay. I also, in my personal opinion, I think this next bull run, which we're hopefully moving towards soon, I think one of the strongest narratives will be AI. And to have access to this decentralized AI, I think that this will be very, very large in this next bull run. So if you're an investor, owning a chunk of that would be very smart of you. Yeah. Yeah. So, and like I said, I think there's also this other aspect where crypto is kind of, crypto's a bubble, or not a bubble. Crypto is like a sector, But I think AI has the potential to get outside of that crypto world and into the other areas, the Web 2 areas, and like, say, my mother, my grandmother, my sister, my brother, like AI, they all use AI. True. And this is a way for investors to not just get kind of stuck into that crypto zone, but also bridge out into other areas. Yeah. Again, this is kind of one of our major pushes right now, is to integrate Web 2 services. People that don't necessarily use crypto, get them to understand these products and that they can actually use them in their day-to-day businesses. Oh yeah, and it's only going to get stronger and more real as time goes on. True. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great projects in this area, and they're all working on kind of different areas of this. One of the major differences between us and, for example, we talked about render network. I think a big difference is that we're trying to build this full stack from the bottom all the way up, whereas render networks are trying to niche in on a single layer of that cake. So that's one thing that does set us out, is we are trying to build the entire stack versus just one piece. There's also difficulties that go with that, right? If you niche into one area, it makes things a little bit more streamlined. But we're trying to go for the whole thing, which means we have access to a wider network of people. So there's that. There's also this something that's truly unique about EMCs. We just released like an RWA, like a real world asset. And so the idea is I can own, say, an NFT or something, and that NFT is representing something in the real world. And in this situation, it would be an actual card. So I can own that NFT, and that NFT will generate income. So that's, again, just kind of like a service that we're providing, which I think is very unique and special, that a lot of other people don't do. We also have this a very strong community, right? So we talked about this before. We have this EMC hub, right? And we're really trying to bring in AI developers, because on this hub, they have access to everything else. They have the smart contracts and the GPUs down on the bottom, but also the hub level itself. We're offering a lot of grants, a lot of tools for AI developers to kind of play around and see what they can build. Yes, sorry. Let me just, I lost all my stuff. Give me a second, please. I tried to go to the EMC hub and I closed all my stuff.
Question 7. What is your strategy to penetrate into Penetrates Korean market? Do you have any strategy?
The Korean market's really interesting to us because it's an incredible tech ecosystem. The Korean population is very tech oriented, and they're always on the kind of the cutting edge here. So this is why we really wanted to bridge into the Korean ecosystem. In terms of our strategy, a lot of it will just be trying to provide the people with the things they want. And so a lot of this will be targeting businesses and developers and creators, trying to, again, like I said, trying to share with them the fact that they can use these tools pretty easily. And so this would be like, say, if you want to deploy your own AI model or something like that, then we can help you set this up. We can give you grants if you need money. We can give you access to these super powerful GPUs. So that's kind of our strategy, is to share the things that are available and really try to connect these with the right people. Yeah, I mean, we hope, again, I hope that if I'm a business and I need to use an AI system, it makes sense that I would use the best one for my own situation, right? So say if I needed to create like a chatbot that runs on my website, well, if I can pay half the price and use EMC versus something like OpenAI, then okay, yes, it's on crypto, but there's a financial incentive there for me as a business to do this, because it's like they have the price. So we're hoping that that's enough to bring people into it. You don't necessarily need to know a lot about crypto. Like, in order to run these services, they could just buy a certain amount of, say, EMC tokens, put it into their wallet, and then never do anything. Just forget about it. They don't have to like learn that much, I don't think.
Question 8. As AI and decentralized technology continue to evolve, what are your thoughts on the future of the DePIN and AR sector in terms of the market demand and the inter-industry prospect?
Like I said before, I'm a strong advocate of privacy rights, and this goes also with my advocation of decentralization. So the reason I'm saying this is that right now we're heading towards a world where companies like Google and OpenAI, they have models, essentially they have access to more GPUs than anyone else, and they have enough money to run these GPUs training all day, every day. And this is a big problem, because I think we're following this exponential curve, right? And so if they get ahead of everyone else, they will always be ahead of everyone else, and the distance will be increasing over time. So this is a big worry to me, that these AI companies that have access to, say, Gemini and OpenAI, that they get so far ahead of everyone else that no one else can compete. And the answer to this is decentralization. If we can connect all the small people together through a network and incentivize them, we actually have more computing power than they can ever have, because there's more people, more access, right? But the hard thing is actually connecting these people. So OpenAI is like a one company. They have lots of money, but they don't have as much money as everyone else in the world, right? If you can connect everyone else in the world and really use decentralization to channel these resources, we can compete with these people, and it's better for everyone. And so this is why I'm kind of in this industry, is because I really do see it's a threat to the entire human race. If we don't fight back against decentralized AI companies, it's going to be a big problem later on. And I think the most sensible solution to this is decentralization. Decentralization is the answer. In order to incentivize people to be in this network, this is where Web3 comes in for microtransactions. And And so again, I think all of these pieces go together very well in this area. And so that's why I'm here. And I do hope it works, because if it doesn't work, then I'm worried about the future. It's kind of like one of the only solutions. I mean, I think it's deceiving, because in the past we're talking about single technologies, but I see AI as it's on the level of like making fire or something like that, where, you know, like fire is in, you know, you should consider fire and electricity, power, things, all the kind of the same thing. And I do think that AI is, it's not a fad. It's not like a thing that everyone's interested in and then next year they stop using it. I think that it will increasingly get better and it'll integrate into our lives more and more. I mean, we see this even with like humanoid robots, right? Like Tesla has these robots. And so the robot's nice, and you add AI into that. And then what can a robot do? Well, it can clean your house. It can do everything. So all I'm saying is that I think when we think about AI, we can't really put it into a normal technology box, because it's almost like having a new human or something like that. You know, like a human and technology is not really the same, because a human has this infinite potential. And the same way AI has this infinite potential too, where it's so to know what the future will be, because we don't know, we don't know what they'll be able to do in, say, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So anyways, to answer that question, I think that AI is not a fad. I think it's only going to get more and more integrated until it's part of everything we do. So I think being in this area would be very smart for people to be in. Let's see. I mean, so I lived in Korea for 3 years, and I loved it. Yeah, I lived in Ulsan for a year, and then I was in Gangnam for 2 years. So let's see. I mean, again, I kind of said it at the start. I see Korea as a very important market for EMC, because the Korean people, they're so on the cutting edge of technology. One example of this is just internet speeds. I went from California to Korea, and I was shocked by how fast all the internet was in Korea. It's just one example of infrastructure, right? And so I think that Korea is positioned very, very well for this kind of new AI decentralized future, because the people get it, right? Korean people understand, okay, technology is the way forward, and we should learn and stay on this cutting edge. So I guess, I don't know, my message to the Korean people would be, just learn as much as you can about AI, because the more you know, you're going to stay on that cutting edge, right? I think, I mean, on the downside to this is that if you don't learn about AI, you're going to get left behind really quickly. So I think staying on that cutting edge and learning as much as you can, that's how you will be positioned the best. No worries. It was nice to meet you. Bye-bye.